Hey there, everybody. This is the Sleuthy teacher, and today we are starting episode 1 of Nancy Drew number 7, Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake. This game came out in 2002. It actually came out on my birthday. Despite all of that, I had a really hard time finding a physical copy of this game when I was a kid, which is how I played all of the games when I was a kid. So because of that, it took me a really long time to get to play this game. And because it took such a long time for me to play this game, it doesn't have as much nostalgia for me that it does for a lot of people in the Nancy Drew community. So I'm not overly fond of this game. With all of that in mind, though, I'm still really excited to play this, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get into it, and let's get sleuthy.
Welcome to my latest case, Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake. To start playing, choose either Junior or Senior Detective. If you're new to adventure games or need some help, choose Tutorial.
Okay, and just like every other playthrough we've been doing, we're going to stick with Junior Detective.
Dear Ned, remember Sally McDonald, the woman who took those photos that Dad has up in his office? Well, she just bought a house in Moon Lake, Pennsylvania. A gangster named Mickey Malone built it back in the 20s as his country getaway. We're talking major fixer-upper. Anyway, last night Sally called and she said she desperately needed my detective skills. She refused to say why over the phone. Naturally, I said I'd drive to Moon Lake immediately. But weird things started happening the moment I pulled up. First, this big tree fell down behind my car and has me totally blocked in. And then I discovered that Sally's gone. She left a note that suggested something terrible happens here at night. She's supposed to call me from her car. So here I sit, writing to you while I wait for the phone to ring. It's nighttime, and although part of me is dying to know what frightened Sally away, another part of me is starting to feel a little uneasy. I'll let you know what happens. Ever yours, Nancy.
Now, I will admit, the opening letter for this game is fantastic and builds a ton of suspense right out the gate, which is so awesome. Anyway, Nancy is up in Moon Lake, Pennsylvania, supposed to be visiting her friend Sally. She gets here, Sally is gone, and now she's trapped here. What a setup for a Nancy Drew game, huh? Alright, so let's take a look around here. We have some dogs. We have Vitus, Iggy, Lucy, and Xander.
It's stuck. I need some sandpaper.
Have a stuck dog statue here. Okay, let's see here. What else is there to look at? So like I said, it took me a really long time to get to play this game. So I am not familiar with this one at all. So I have a really bad feeling a lot of this game is going to be me wandering around going, what do I do next? But it'll be fun. It'll be great. All right, I'm assuming this is Sally. Let's find out.
Hello?
Nancy, hi, it's Sally. We have to talk fast because I'm in my car and my cell phone's running low, so we might get cut off. But did you see my note?
Yes, are you all right?
No, I feel awful bailing on you like that. You must think I'm such a flake.
I'm just worried about you. What's wrong?
I couldn't stand the thought of spending another night there. I knew you were on your way, but it didn't help. I just got too scared.
What's to be scared of? It's so peaceful and quiet here.
Just wait until it gets dark. Then you'll see. What am I saying? Nancy, you shouldn't be there by yourself either. Why don't you just go get in your car and go home? Or drive to Philadelphia. My aunt's got plenty of room.
No way. You've got me so curious, I wouldn't leave even if I could.
What do you mean?
A tree fell down behind my car just as I was driving up to the house. I'm blocked in.
Oh, the dead maple beside the driveway. Oh, they told me it was in danger of falling over when I had the place inspected. I just never got around to doing anything about it. Listen, call M's Emporium. That's a store on the lake. Emily knows everybody. She'll know who to call if she decides to answer her phone.
Don't worry about it. I'm not in any hurry to leave.
You will be. Okay, look. I just bought a little outboard motorboat. I haven't used it yet, but the guy who put it in for me said it should run just fine. It's tied up at the dock out front. Just get in it and go. Go anywhere. Just get away from the house.
I can't just take off in your boat. It's pitch black outside.
Then listen to me. Go around the house and lock all the doors and windows. Do that right now.
There aren't any locks on the doors and windows. What are you so afraid of?
The dogs! Those dogs! Out of of nowhere. They're outside howling and snarling. Teeth and claws. Horrible.
Dogs? Hello? Did you say dogs? Hello?
What a premise for a game, am I right? Such a spooky phone call. All right, so it says check out squeaking mice.
What is that?
Lulu? Sorry, that's a reference to another game that we will eventually get to. But it does sound just like her. If you've played the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, let's see what's making that noise.
Something's out there.
Now look what you've done. That was a Strixvaria. At least I think it was. Never know for sure now, will I?
And here's our first character that we get to meet in the game. This is, well, I'll let him introduce himself.
Who are you?
My name's Red Knot. And if you've got a volume knob, I'd appreciate your taking it down a notch before you scare away everything from here to Lancaster.
What a nice, warm, and fuzzy guy, huh?
I'm Nancy Drew. What were all those noises out here just now?
That was me, Miss Nancy Drew, calling in birds. And doing a pretty good job of it, too, till you showed up. Where'd you come from, anyway?
Doing a good job at calling in birds. My dude, you sounded like you were a ghost. Just throwing it out there.
I'm staying here in the old Malone place.
Now, why would you want to do a thing like that? The Malone house is no place for one young woman, let alone two.
What do you know about the woman living here?
I talked to her a couple of times. But you know, the last time I saw her, she wasn't doing so good. She acted real anxious, scared.
Probably because maybe you snuck up on her in the middle of the night making ghost noises too? Maybe, possibly, perhaps.
What do you think was scaring her?
The dogs. The dogs of Mickey Malone. Legend goes that when Malone was finally arrested and hauled away, his 4 dogs went running off into the woods and were never seen again. People would just hear them, howling like their hearts were broken every night until one by one, they all died and went silent. But every time someone tries living in the Malone house, back they come.
10 out of 10 ghost story. Fantastic.
What do the dogs do?
Every night, ever since she moved in, you could hear them howling. And some nights the dogs would appear outside the house, running around, snarling and barking and throwing themselves at the doors and windows. And then they'd be gone. They're buried in the cemetery just beyond the house, you know. Them and Malone, both.
The dogs would attack her house?
It's like they don't want anybody but Malone living there. I guess they don't know he's dead. And so are they.
Did they ever attack Sally?
She never gave them the chance. After the first attack, she stopped going out at night. Just locked the doors when it got dark and sat tight until morning.
Why haven't the police investigated?
This isn't New York City, Miss Nancy Drew. All they got around here is one officious little park ranger. And all Jeff Akers does is sit around all day trying to figure out how he can get himself transferred out of here to a bigger park.
Do you live close by?
I just come to Moon Lake in the spring to look for birds. Got an observation platform just up the path, kind of my base camp, and I've got a little outboard down there on the lake. Left my car at the big dock up lake. Don't really need it.
Are those the ghost dogs?
Yes, ma'am. Which is why I think it would be a good idea if I went my merry way and you got yourself back inside that house. Good luck, Miss Nancy Drew.
Okay, so we heard the dogs howling in the distance. Also, Nancy said it was pitch black outside. That moon's looking pretty bright to me. Just saying.
It's not safe to take the boat out at night.
Okay, so Nancy's not going to let us go anywhere right now, and there was noises of the dogs, so I think it's probably the best idea for us to go back in the house.
This is not good.
Spooky, right? Alright, so I don't know if Nancy can actually go outside now after that. Let's try it. Oh. So after all of that, Nancy's like, you know what I'm gonna go do? Walk around outside in the dark. That sounds like a safe way to spend my time. Wonder if Red Knot's in his tree. Let's go find out.
This must be Red's observation platform.
But he's nowhere to be found. I have to admit, though, that opening cutscene of the dogs attacking the house is genuinely kind of scary. I mean, that first bang even made me jump, and I knew it was coming. They did a really, really good job of building a lot of suspense right off the bat at the beginning of this game. So good. Alright, let's change to daytime. You're going upstairs to sleep. When would you like to wake up? The morning. Alright. Come on. There we go. Ooh, a flashlight. And a map of the forest, which comes in handy because that forest is like a maze. Get well water tested ASAP. Nancy, I'm really sorry, but I just can't face another night here. I'm going to my aunt's in Philadelphia. Doors open. Make yourself at home. We'll call you from my car. Sally. P.S. My phone number is 215-555-5389. P.P.S. Please don't hate me. Okay. Get dead tree cut down. Well, I mean, it's already down. Now you just need it taken away. Okay, so I'm trying to remember what we can do right now. I think we could probably do some exploring. This game does a really good job of day-night cycles.
The boat's full of water. I need to bail out the boat.
There's water in them there, our boat. Okay.
Looks like paw prints.
Well, Nancy, you did see there were dogs running around last night. This should not be a surprise. Okay. Bail the boat out. And now we have a screwdriver.
The spark plug is missing.
Just our luck. Okay, so can't do that. Gonna need to get a spark plug from someone. There's the fallen tree. I do think it's kind of funny, though. If there's the fallen tree, why don't you see Nancy's roadster in this game? These are the questions that keep me awake at night.
Those look too rotten.
But maybe they have a great personality. Okay, there's that. That's going out into the woods. We're not going to go there quite yet. Have a shed over here. See if there's anything of interest in here.
It's locked. It's locked.
Like, you can't pick a lock with a screwdriver, Nancy. Come on.
A face only a gnome could love.
This looks very similar to the iron that we use in Message in the Haunted Mansion. Okay, so now we have the key.
Oh, the key broke off. There's got to be another way to get this open.
Like a screwdriver. Hammer and nails, respirator. Alright. So now I think, let's go explore the woods a little bit. And then since the boat is missing a spark plug. We can't go anywhere right now. So I think... Oop, missed that board. I think what we'll do, once we're done exploring the woods here, is we will probably change it
Better
to
be careful.
nighttime again. And see if Red Knot has a spark plug for us. Okay, let's see here. So we're by the fallen tree. Okay, we're going to take a right and then a left. So right, left. Okay, now we're by the log. Oh, we just went past the log. Okay, so follow the path. And we're pretty much going to take lefts from here on out. I think I just... It's a bird! There we go. Okay, so here we have the graveyard. Waldo Matthias. Snooky. Piffin Paff. Cedric Cosmo Cranky, or Cedric Cranky Cosmo. Goodness. Oma Pearl. Some interesting names here. Stench. Asia Royal. Marbles. We're so sorry to have lost you. Oh no, they lost their marbles. And then we have the markers for the dogs. So we have Vetus and Xander on this side. And then over here we have Iggy and Lucy.
These look like dog tracks.
Dun dun dun. And then here we have Mickey Malone. Quite spooky. Alright, and I think that's the last board that we need to fix something in the house. Okay, let's see if I can find my way back here first try. I feel like it's that way. There we go. Hey, look at that. Didn't even need the map. Okay. So, there is a little bit of a game over sequence here. And I realized playing through the last couple of games that I don't show off a lot of game over sequences. Sorry about that. But I might as well show you this one.
Rotten floorboards. Watch your...
Oops. Okay, so you're not actually supposed to step over there to read that sticky note. But what you can do is put these boards down. And then, I can't remember if we have to nail them into place. I think we do. There we go. And now we're good. So now we can read Rotten Floorboards, Watch Your Step, which... How did Sally get that note over there in the first place? Like, did she attach it to a broom and then just smack it to the wall with a broom? Like, how did she do that? Okay. So we're switching over to PM now. We'll go talk to Red Knot and see if we can get that spark plug.
The moon's so bright, I won't need my flashlight.
It's so bright we don't need a flashlight, but driving the boat at dark? Absolutely not. This is Nancy Drew logic, people.
Well, it's Miss Nancy Drew.
Well, if it isn't Mr. Red Knot.
Does that mean you'd like me to call you Mr. Red Knot?
All right, then. Hello, Nancy. Now put a muffler on it, would ya? I just heard a cerulean warbler.
Really? Are they rare?
Something tells me they're gonna be with you around. You didn't come up here to chit-chat, did you?
What if I did? You're so much fun to talk to.
Do you know much about outboard motors?
Sure do. Only type of motorized vehicle that's allowed on Moon Lake. Heck, if it were up to me, I'd ban them too. Have everybody get around by canoe. Nothing like the threat of physical activity to keep tourists away.
You're not exactly a people person, are you?
I came to see birds, not people. The more people there are in a forest, the fewer birds there are. It's a fact of life. Reason I like to come here is because nobody else does. It's perfect. Not a decent grocery store, restaurant, or motel for miles.
There's no place nearby that sells boat parts? Sally's outboard is missing a spark plug.
I might be able to help you out. After all, I was a Boy Scout. Be prepared.
That laugh is so creepy.
You mean you have a spark plug I could buy?
Well, just so happens I've got 2 spark plugs right here in my pocket. Question is, if I give you one, what do I get for it? I don't need cash, but maybe you could take a few pictures for me. Know how to use a digital camera?
Thus begins the longest chore run in Nancy Drew history. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but still. Oh my goodness.
My friend Bess just got one for her birthday. I helped her figure out how to use it.
There's a couple of birds I'm supposed to take pictures of for PEPSOB. That's People for the Preservation and Study of Birds. You can recognize them by their songs, which are on this tape, which you can play on my cassette player, which you're gonna have to get from M's Emporium as soon as you get your boat fixed. Think you can handle that?
I know I can.
Here's everything you'll need. M's Emporium is up lake on the west side. Not that I'm trying to get you out of my hair or anything, but try not to come pestering me till you're done, okay? One more thing. You smoke?
Only when I'm on fire.
Oh, you're a spunky one, aren't you? Well, these woods may not look it, but they're tinder dry. One lit match, and the best bird habitat on the East Coast will go up in smoke. So watch what you do, because if anything like that happens, I won't be looking for birds anymore, I'll be looking for you. Watch yourself out there.
He really needs to calm down. Okay, so now that we have this spark plug, gonna change it to daytime, get the boat fixed, and do some exploring. I love the outside noises that we hear in this game. It's very relaxing. Okay. So we have the spark plug. So we have plus, 0, minus, plus. So I don't remember which is which. So we're just going to guess and hope for the best. I think plus is all the way down. Maybe? I might have that backwards. We'll find out. Okay. This one all the way down. Alright, let's see if that fixed it. Nope, that wasn't right.
Something must be very wrong with this engine.
Yeah, the person operating it doesn't know what they're doing. Okay, so maybe
I
it's...
gotta have some torque.
Torque, Nancy, torque! Okay, so we'll try all the way out. That one should be in the middle. So this one should be all the way in. And this one's all the way out? Maybe? We'll see. Hey, I fixed it. Go me. I love that we get to see little glimpses of the lake as we drive. That's really cool. Okay, so this is M's Emporium, and this here is M.
Hey there! Welcome to M's Emporium. I'm Emily Griffin.
Hi, Emily Griffin.
My name's Nancy Drew. I'm staying out at the old Malone place. You know, the house Sally McDonald bought?
Now what's she doing inviting guests out to that old dump?
Really quick, just wanted to point out, back behind Sally, some of the movies that are back there, the one that's right next to her shoulder, that image should look familiar because that was on a movie poster in the final scene.
She's got a little problem she's hoping I can solve, but right now I need a chainsaw.
A chainsaw?
A tree fell down in the driveway behind my car, and now I'm blocked in.
I'll get Tucker Davis to take care of it. Gotta warn you, though. Tucker tends to do things in his own sweet time. So how come Sally ain't with you?
The ghost dog scared her off.
I told her. I said, Sally, that old house is gonna be nothing but trouble. And sure enough, Malone's hounds have come back. Just when we all thought they were finally resting in peace.
When was the last time they appeared?
Seems like they show up every time somebody buys the place. So the last time would have been 10, 15 years ago.
Have you ever seen the dogs?
Nope. Don't want to, neither. Just hearing 'em howls bad enough. Scares the bejeebies out of me.
I got the bejeebies scared out of me twice last night. Just before I saw the dogs, I caught a man named Red Knot prowling around outside the house.
The bird watcher. Comes in every so often to stock up on that weirdo food he eats. You know how them tree hugger types are.
It seemed to me that he was more into watching birds than hugging trees.
Yeah, well, whatever. One thing's for sure, he's gonna wind up with a dose of buckshot in his hind end if he keeps tramping through people's yards making noises like he just popped out of a UFO.
See what I mean? Doesn't sound like a bird.
I need to get the water from Sally's well tested. How would I go about doing that? Do you know?
Just get a water testing kit from the ranger station and follow the directions.
Where's the ranger station?
Just up lake from Sally's on the east side.
Why would there be a problem with the water?
'Cause it's well water. And seeing as Malone dug that well 80 years ago, what gets pumped out of it could be pretty funky.
Mr. Knott did me a favor, and in return he asked me to pick up a cassette player from you.
Oh yeah, I got it right here. Thought maybe the old coot had forgotten he left it here. What else can I do you for?
These so-called ghost dogs left very real paw prints. I saw some near the cemetery that's by the Malone house. Have you ever been there?
Can't say as I have. Poking around cemeteries ain't exactly a hobby with me.
Does the name Waldo Matthias mean anything to you?
Can't say as it does.
Where do you find your... Achoo!
Bless you. It's all the dust. Sometimes I think it grows on this stuff.
Some of those old bottles are beautiful. Where'd you get them?
Found 'em. See, back in the days of Prohibition, that old Malone place used to be party central. Only way to get to and from back then was by boat. And when those boats dumped, on account of bad weather or bad driving or the feds suddenly showing up, well, everything from diamond necklaces to full bottles of illegal booze sank to the bottom of the lake.
So it's finders keepers, huh?
That's right. See, recovering objects from the lake bed is illegal. According to Squeaky Wheel Acres, dragging the lake for artifacts was upsetting its delicate eco-balance. So thanks mostly to his constant squawking, the state banned it.
Squeaky Wheel Acres?
Jeff Akers, local park ranger. I keep telling him all this stuff washed up on shore. But does that snobby little stickler for rules believe me?
Sounds like you aren't real fond of Ranger Acres.
Jeff Akers could take all his precious rules and regulations and take a flying leap. Now, I got nothing against getting more customers in here, mind you. But I kind of like Moon Lake the way it is. Small, quiet, out of the way. But Jeff Akers, why, there's nothing he'd like better than to see all the lake and all the property around it turned into one big, noisy, jam-packed state park.
Why would he want that?
He's the type of guy who likes to boss people around, makes them feel important. So if the park got way bigger and was crawling with tourists, why, instead of giving out maybe one ticket for littering every 2 days, he'd be giving out 12 tickets every 2 hours. He'd be in heaven. Well, hey, I'm sure you got better things to do than getting your ear chewed off by yours truly.
I need to buy something.
You want it? I got it. Long as you pay cash, that is.
Right now, cash is kind of a problem for me. Do you think we could do some kind of trade-out?
You scratch my back, I scratch yours, huh? Seeing as how you're a friend of Sally's, and seeing as how I got some things around here that could use doing, I guess we could work something out. What is it you need?
Do you sell sandpaper by any chance?
I do, but Mr. Birdbrain was in last week and cleaned me out. Said he was tired of that observation platform of his giving him splinters in his hinter regions.
Think I could get some from him?
He's your only hope, but you better ask him for it quick. That deck of his is pretty big, and those squares I sold him are pretty small.
Guess I'll see you later.
Keep on trucking.
All right, so that's Sally. Nice and friendly. Some live bait. And here's a fun little Nancy Drew Easter egg for you. M. Benson Aviation, Millie Gets You There, is actually a nod to the first ghostwriter that used the Carolyn Keene moniker, Mildred Wirt Benson. So, pretty cool. She was an aviator, which is why the plane is on there. Okay, I'm trying to remember if there's anything else of interest to look in here right now. I don't think there is. So let's go meet Squeaky Wheel Acres. To admit, I do find it hilarious that his name is Acres and he works at a park. Just saying. All right, here he is, Ranger Acres.
Hello, can I help you?
Hi, my name's Nancy Drew. I'm visiting Sally McDonald. Are you the park ranger?
Park Ranger Jeff Akers, at your service. Let's see, Sally McDonald is the woman who bought the old Malone place.
That's right, only she's gone back to Philadelphia. Malone's dogs got to her.
Don't tell me she believes all that ghost dog stuff.
Does that mean you don't?
There's always a logical explanation for everything. Whatever's out there, I'm sure they're no more and no less than exactly what they look and sound like. Dogs. Living, breathing, very noisy dogs.
Why do you think dogs would attack Sally's house?
Dogs can be trained to do almost anything.
Any idea what would make a dog's eyes glow yellow?
Something in their diet, maybe? Some oddball vitamin or protein.
As a park ranger, don't you want to know for sure what's behind these dog attacks?
Do you always ask this many questions?
As a matter of fact, I do.
I'm a very busy man, Miss Drew, but I am here to serve the public.
Do you have something I could use to test the well water at Sally's?
Sure do. Simple to use, too. Just pump some water into this vial, return the sample to me, I'll send it off, and in a day or two, you'll find out whether or not your water's fit to drink.
Does everyone out here have a well?
Everyone who doesn't want to die of thirst does. Hooking up to a municipal water supply is out of the question. Too expensive.
This place isn't exactly your ordinary ranger station, is it?
It's also the Moon Lake Post Office, and it's the unofficial Moon Lake Museum of Factual and Natural History. I've lived here all my life, so I can't help but feel obligated to protect not only the area's flora and fauna, but also its past.
Which is apparently rather colorful.
As a member of the law enforcement community, I prefer to dwell on the positive aspects of history instead of on the activities of a bunch of glorified thugs.
So you'd probably like to see the old Malone place torn down and forgotten.
Not necessarily. It's hard to ignore its potential as a tourist attraction. And if that's what it takes to draw more people to Moon Lake, I'm a reasonable man.
As an officer of the law, can you think of anyone who might want to scare Sally off her property?
The woman who owns the shop across the lake? Emily Griffin? I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure she's been dragging the lake in front of Malone's house for artifacts, which is illegal. It would be a lot easier for her to do her dirty work if nobody was living there.
What do you know about the cemetery behind the Malone house?
People are buried there. Beyond that, what's to know?
Is Malone buried there?
That's the rumor.
The inscription on one of the tombstones reads Waldo Matthias. Does that name ring any bells?
Not in my steeple.
Would you mind mailing this letter for me?
Not at all.
Would it be okay if I looked around?
Please do. And if you have any questions, any more questions, just ask.
Thanks for all your help.
Not a problem. Oh, and one last thing. The deer mouse population has boomed this year, so please take precautions if you're cleaning out any area where they may have nested. They can carry some nasty diseases.
Thanks for the tip, Ranger Acres.
Okay, so that's Ranger Acres. He has a whole bunch of different stuff to look at in here. So I have something on hantavirus. There are several types of hantaviruses, but hantavirus pulmonary syndrome can cause acute respiratory failure and death. The rodent most likely to transmit the disease to humans is the deer mouse. A deer mouse infected with hantavirus does not act or appear sick. Infection occurs when tiny particles containing the virus are kicked up into the air, a process called aerosolization, and inhaled. Early symptoms of HPS can occur anywhere from 1 to 5 weeks after exposure and includes fatigue, fever, muscle aches, headaches, chills, and abdominal problems. How to avoid HPS? Avoid these areas or take precautions when cleaning them. Never sweep an area inhabited by mice, as sweeping could stir up particles that could be inhaled. Wear a respiratory mask and rubber gloves, and thoroughly wet down the area with bleach and water solution, 9 parts water, 1 part bleach. Then remove dirt from the area with a damp towel, mop, or sponge. Double bag the cleaning materials before you dispose of them. We have giardiasis, or beaver fever. It's an illness caused by a parasite that lives in the intestines of people and animals. These hard-shelled cysts are expelled into the environment and the waste matter of infected animals or humans and stay in the soil until they contaminate a food source and are accidentally ingested, or until they are carried into rivers, streams, lakes, or recreational bodies of water such as pools and hot tubs. Ugh. Sounds awful. I have something on poison ivy, Lyme disease. Infection caused by a bacteria carried by deer ticks. Forest fire prevention. It's up to the people using our nation's park and forest lands to prevent forest fires. While some fires are started by lightning, the most devastating fires tend to be started by human carelessness. Use common sense. No smoking allowed anywhere on park grounds. Fireworks and firearms of any kind are strictly prohibited. Campfires are allowed in the park, but only in designated areas. No fires allowed on park beaches at any time. Don't let 1 minute of carelessness destroy what it took nature decades to create. I do love that phrase. That's very well put. Okay. Let's see here. Lots of other stuff to take a look at. Moon Lake State Park. Moon Lake is an apt moniker for this crescent-shaped freshwater lake. One of Pennsylvania's best-kept secrets, the lake is home to various species of fish, including trout, carp, and freshwater bass. Fishing is permitted with a fishing license. Drop by our visitor center and say hi to our park ranger. The center provides all your needed information for a fun and enjoyable time at Moon Lake. Critters. There's white-tailed deer, chipmunks, cottontail rabbits, otters, and skunks are some of the more common animals in Moon Lake State Park. Please note all wildlife can be dangerous. Never approach, harass, or feed any animals, even small ones. Common shorebirds include the great blue heron and mallard. East Beach provides ample opportunities for bird watching. South area of the park is closed to visitors, as several rare birds, such as the yellow-bellied flycatcher, are known to breed in this area of the lake. Then we have fishing regulations, and boating regulations, and hiking tips. Hey kids, check out Moon Lake's nature highlights. They spelled highlights wrong. Chipmunk, gray squirrel. Lots of stuff to see there. How old is this tree? Did you know the growth rings on a tree indicate its age and the environmental conditions in which it grew? This cross-section is a reproduction of a pine tree that was 62 years old when it was cut down. Please note that the actual size of this display does not reflect the actual width of a 62-year-old pine. It shows a bunch of information on the tree, including a burn scar from a forest fire that quickly scorched the forest. Maybe it's me just kind of being into history and stuff like that, but I do think it is really cool that you can learn so much about an area by studying tree rings. That is really cool. Moon Lake, Pennsylvania Logging Company, 1892. Moon Lake School Teachers and Students, 1905. Moon Lake, Pennsylvania Logging Company in the winter of, I can't tell if, I think that's 1888, I think. Albertus Lundquist, founder of Moon Lake, Pennsylvania Logging Company. Town of Liberty near Moon Lake in 1922. Park Rangers Francis Bacon Grits and his wife Zelda Strawberry, Moon Lake, 1952. Whoever named their kid so that their middle name and last name was Bacon Grits. So funny. Moon Lake North Area Development, 1913. And then brothers Flavie, Danny, and Ronnie proudly showing their prize-winning catches at this year's Moon Lake State Park Summer Fishing Contest. It's 1963. Pretty cool. And then there's a computer with a whole bunch of stuff. We're not going to look at that right now because we're going to need it later. The CCC. In 1932, when the United States was in the throes of the Great Depression, presidential candidate Franklin D. Roosevelt recognized that the country was facing two very serious problems. Its natural resources were rapidly being destroyed by soil erosion and deforestation, and thousands of able-bodied men were unemployed and desperately looking for work. So when he was elected, Roosevelt immediately compelled the Congress to pass the Emergency Conservation Work Act. It called for the establishment of a peacetime army of men who, stationed at various camps throughout the country, would undertake work projects that would save and revitalize the nation's forests while allowing the men to earn much-needed paychecks. By the end of 1935, this army, called the Civilian Conservation Corps, or the CCC, had been successfully mobilized and was hard at work. 500,000 enrollees were stationed at 2,650 camps, which were located in all 48 states, as well as the territories of Hawaii and Alaska. The men undertook projects ranging from building roads and fire towers to stringing telephone lines to planting billions of trees. When the CCC was abolished in 1942, it had left its mark on every state in the nation. The importance of its role in the development of recreational facilities in national, state, county, and metropolitan parks throughout the country cannot be understated. The building in which you are now sitting is a testament to the dedication and determination of Roosevelt's Tree Army. Pretty cool. Okay. So now that we have the water testing kit, we can do that, and we have Red's tape recorder so we can get pictures of his birds. Gonna need that to prime the pump. Okay, so to prime the pump you have to put some water on it, and then pump till water comes out. Alright, so we're going to put the bucket back. Collect some water, and then we should be able to just put the test tube in the bucket. There we go. Alright, let's find some birds. Caw-caw, caw-caw. Oh, I suppose we should listen to the tape recorder first, huh? Okay.
American goldfinch. Northern cardinal. Red-tailed hawk. Western tanager.
Okay, so there's the bird calls. And some of the birds are marked here on the map. I believe Nancy writes that in as she comes across them. So, get to do a little wandering around.
Here, birdie, birdie, birdie.
Yes, because that is how you call birds, Nancy. Got it. 1 down, 6 to go.
Where are all the birds?
Lunch break. Vacation. Sleep. Let's see here. Okay, there should be a blue jay. We get quite a few blue jays around where I live. They are such beautiful birds. They're also quite mouthy. Okay, we have a robin here. Oh, there it is. All right, halfway there.
I must have scared it.
Such good music in this game. Okay, I don't think anything to do there. Let's see here.
Darn, it flew away.
Ah, nuts. Okay, let's see here. After a while of wandering around in here, it definitely starts to feel like you're going around in circles. Okay, there's the tanager again.
Tweet, tweet!
Nancy, on what planet would that work for calling a bird? Caw-caw, caw-caw. Nope. Is this? There we go. That's how we get out. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so we're going to try going this way, and then we're going to go this way. A shoe! Also, I'm pretty sure that's Maya's shoe from Final Scene. If it isn't, it looks just like it. Okay, nothing there. I am missing a bird, and I don't know how I am managing to do that. Let's see here. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I have missed a bird, so there should be 5. Okay, so this is the log. If we go... We're not lost. We're just on an adventure. There it is.
Darn, it flew away.
Ah, nuts. Okay. So that was pretty much the last thing that we needed. Okay. So we will bring the water sample back to Ranger Acres, and then I think we need to change to the nighttime cycle. See if we can talk to Red Knot about these birds that we can't get a picture of because we keep scaring them away.
You're back.
I have that water sample. What do I do with it?
Just give it to me, and I'll take care of it.
Thanks for all your help.
Always a pleasure.
And there's a puppy! For real though, why can't we pet the dog? We can look at the dog. Why can we not pet the dog? Such a sweet baby.
You're back.
I noticed you have a dog.
That's Yogi, who never goes out unless he's on a leash. Park rules.
I couldn't help but notice that he's about the same size as those ghost dogs were.
I hope you're not suggesting I trained Yogi to run around in the middle of the night barking and attacking houses.
Thanks for all your help.
That's why I'm here.
I find it funny that Nancy kind of alludes to Yogi being the ghost dog. Nancy, you could clearly see the dog. It definitely was not the kind of dog that Yogi is. Like, not at all. Since we're out on the lake, let's go talk to Em.
Howdy, Nancy.
Guess I'll see you later.
You betcha.
You betcha. Alright, nothing to talk to her about. So we'll go back and change it over tonight. Okie dokie. Change it over to nighttime. I love the daytime music for this game, but even the nighttime music is phenomenal.
You find all the birds?
I found some birds, but no matter how quiet I am, I've been scaring other birds away before I can take their picture. What am I doing wrong?
You're wearing those clothes. That's what you're doing wrong. You need to blend in, like me. Go back over to M's tacky tourist trap and get yourself some camouflage gear. Only sensible thing that money grubber carries.
I'm sorry to keep bugging you, but I need some sandpaper. Emily said you might have some?
Here, take it and scram. I was just about to call in a meadowlark. That was always Ruth's favorite.
Was Ruth your
Good
wife?
heavens, no. My wife had no patience for birding. Ruth was my dog. Border collie. She'd hear a meadowlark, and by golly, her ears would perk, and she'd cock her head, and she'd just come as close to smiling as ever a dog could.
Do many people around here own dogs?
Not really. Most people don't bother. The place is surrounded by park land, and Ranger Acres just loves enforcing the leash laws. There it is again. Take your sandpaper and go sand something, okay?
Okay, so I have the sandpaper, and we need to go get some clothes from M, which we won't be able to do until it is daytime. So let's...
It's stuck!
Well, yeah, that's what the sandpaper's for there, Nance. There we go. Okay, so now we can move the doggies around. Okay, so let's see here. There's this poem over here that we need to take a look at.
Leaves that appear on a fresh spring tree make my birth different from the other three. When swans drift by on shimmering blue, I'm the one who plays in the summer dew. When autumn's call brings out the deer, it is I who howls on mornings clear. And when winter comes and birds take flight, look to me to sleep through the long gray night.
Okay, so nice little poem there. I can't believe that HerInteractive did not have a tapestry or a blanket or something like that made of that poem. At least as far as I know, they haven't. Okay. Water. Swans. Okay. So, this was the... I should have wrote that down as I did that. That was not my best idea. Come on. So, deer... Tree... Water... Last one should be swan. Okay. So I have all of that written down. I think, let's see here. Oh, come on. I'm gonna be completely honest. Do not remember how to do this puzzle. Sounds like a good time to call in a hint. I mean, I vaguely remember it, but not as well as I should.
Nancy, how's it going?
Hey, Bess. How'd you know it was me?
Telepathy, of course. Just another of my many talents.
You are so full of it. She got caller ID, Nancy. So now, instead of hanging up on the geeks that always call her, she just doesn't answer the phone.
Very funny. So what's up?
I could sure use a nice big hint right about now.
Red said you need to get some camouflage gear from Emily.
You better go get it from her before he decides to steal your spark plug again.
Believe it or not, on some nights, this house gets attacked by a pack of dogs. Sally's so scared of them, she left me here by myself.
Did you say dogs?
She couldn't have, George. Dogs don't attack houses.
They were definitely dogs. They came out of nowhere and started leaping at the windows and scratching at the doors like they wanted to get in.
Maybe that was just their way of being friendly.
These dogs were not friendly, believe me, and they had glowing yellow eyes. A birdwatcher I ran into said they were ghosts.
Ghosts?
The man who built Sally's place on Moon Lake was a gangster. The birdwatcher said that the ghosts of his dogs show up every time someone new tries to live here.
The place is haunted by ghost dogs?
Like there's such a thing as ghosts. But it does sound like you've got another mystery on your hands, Detective Drew.
There's a private cemetery in the woods out back. Malone and his dogs are supposedly buried there.
Creepy.
Did I tell you about all the weird noises I've been hearing inside the house?
Are you sure you're going to be all right there by yourself? We'd volunteer to drive out there and keep you company, but unfortunately my car's in the shop, and you know what a scaredy cat George is.
That's okay. There's really no room, and believe me, living conditions here are pretty primitive.
Scaredy cat, huh? You're gonna pay for that remark, dear cousin.
Moon Lake is gorgeous, but it's so remote. The park ranger is the closest thing they have to a sheriff around here.
Park ranger? What's he like?
Which, as we all know, is Bess's way of saying, park ranger? Is he cute?
Not true, George. Nancy thinks everybody's cute, so what would be the point? Anyway, Nancy, you were saying?
His name's Jeff Akers. He's very helpful, polite, efficient, knowledgeable.
Sounds boring.
In fact, he probably knows more about the area than all the other residents of Moon Lake combined.
Sounds very boring.
What's he know about these alleged ghost dogs?
He thinks they're just plain old dogs that for some reason like to run around at night scaring people.
And what does Detective Drew think about the dogs?
I think Sally had good reason to be scared of them. I don't blame her for leaving, which leads me to think that maybe that was the whole idea.
Somebody had those dogs attack Sally in order to scare her away?
Why would anybody do that? She was there for less than a month.
You'd have to be a total creep to make enemies that fast. And Sally's one of the nicest people I know.
Ooh, Nancy! Speaking of cute guys, Frank and Joe Hardy called. I filled them in on where you are and what you're doing, and they're dying to hear from you.
Oh, yeah? What are they up to?
Compared to you, nothing. As I was telling them about this latest case of yours, I could hear them turning green with envy right through the receiver.
Their number is 280-555-4865. Bess didn't recognize it when they called and almost didn't answer the phone.
Good thing my cousin here has a memory like an elephant, huh?
What's that supposed to mean?
Call them, Nancy. They're dying to hear from you. But remember, Frank's cute and all that, but George and I want to hear from you, too.
Yeah, no fair discussing the case with them from now on and not with us. Promise you'll keep us up to speed?
I promise. This birdwatcher I met has got me taking pictures of birds for some survey he's doing. He's a bit of a grump.
Does he live nearby?
No, he just kind of hangs out in the woods. In fact, I only see him at night.
Interesting. He's in the woods at night. The dogs are in the woods at night.
Could he have had a reason for wanting Sally out of the Malone house?
As far as I know, he and Sally were on good terms. But I also know that Red doesn't seem to have much use for any life form that doesn't molt.
He sounds like my Uncle Zach. He's into birds. Only he doesn't watch them. He hunts them, then shoots them. I never really liked my Uncle Zach.
Did I mention that all the water in Sally's house comes from a well?
Ew, really? Does it taste like rotten eggs?
Not all well water tastes like rotten eggs, Bess.
I don't know if it does or not. Because the well is so old, I need to get the water tested before I drink it.
Good plan. Nothing will wreck your day faster than a nice tall glass of contaminated water.
Bye, you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Well, now that we have the Hardy Boys' phone number, I think we need to give them a call. 280-555-4865.
Hello?
Hey, Joe. It's Nancy.
Nancy, how's it going? No, wait, don't answer that. Talk about the weather or something.
The weather?
Yeah, that'll give me time to grab the other phone and take it outside. Frank's washing the car. He'll kill me if he misses anything. Here, wait a sec. Take a break, it's Nancy. Hang on, he's putting the hose down. He's drying his hands. He's walking over.
Nancy, hi. What's up? Bess and George say you've got another mystery on your hands.
Or should we say, on your paws.
They told you about the dogs?
We made them tell us everything. Pumped them dry.
As you may have guessed, we're not exactly rolling in detective work here.
So you're living vicariously through me.
It's not the first time, sad to say.
What conclusions have you reached so far, Detective?
If nothing else, those ghost dogs are very well trained. I'm watching to see who owns and or trains dogs around here.
Good plan. But don't forget, a really smart perpetrator is going to make it look like he or she has no connection to dogs whatsoever.
But then a really, really smart perp might have dogs all over the place and not bother to hide it, because he or she would figure you'd never suspect anyone so obvious.
Emily Griffin doesn't seem to have any dogs.
Uh-oh. Move her up on your suspect list.
I'd move her down.
You know, Joe, something tells me we're not helping.
I'm convinced that someone is using those ghost dogs to scare Sally into abandoning Malone's house. If I can just figure out why, I might be able to figure out who.
Never hurts to look for motive.
Malone and his 4 dogs are supposedly buried in a little cemetery near the house. They've all got headstones inscribed with when they were born and when they died.
That's interesting. Did Malone have family?
Not that I'm aware of.
Then who had the tombstones inscribed?
That's exactly what I was wondering.
Sounds like this latest puzzle of yours is still missing a few pieces.
I seem to be getting nowhere fast. Anybody have any suggestions?
We can probably come up with a few.
But we're not going to make it easy for you.
After all, it's your case, not ours.
Go get that camouflage gear before that nut job decides to steal your spark plug again.
Later, guys.
Watch out for dogs.
Just watch out, period.
All right, so Frank and Joe Hardy. I love visiting with those guys. They're so much fun. Okay, so I want to take a look at this poem again. I vaguely remember what direction the dogs are supposed to be in. Let me see. Leaves that appear on a fresh spring tree make my birth different from the other tree. When swans drift by on shimmering dew, I'm the one who plays shimmering blue, I'm the one who plays in the summer dew. When autumn's call brings out the deer, it is I who howls on mornings clear. And when winter comes and birds take flight, look to me to sleep through the long gray night. Okay, so I roughly remember the direction that these are supposed to go in. Let me see. I'm almost positive that Iggy faced forward. I think it was one of these that faced backward. This one, and I know the dogs are supposed to face each other, and they don't. So maybe it's this way and that way. Maybe. Do they face away from each other? There we go. Memory like a steel trap, have I? Okay. So now we have a picture. Pretty cool. And when we open this up, oh, there's, I don't want to go through that yet though. Let's see here, anything else to look at? Pinched.
It could be mice making that sound.
It's definitely mice making that sound. Okay. So here we have
William Akers. I wonder if he's related to Jeff Akers.
Bum bum bum. Thoughts on thuggery. The truth about Mickey Malone as told by his most trusted employee, William Akers. Mr. Malone has never spent a night in jail, and he never will, said William Akers. And you know why? Because he's just an ordinary Joe trying to run an ordinary business. He said this with such conviction that for a moment this reporter honestly thought Akers was talking about somebody other than Mickey Malone, the notorious gangster. But I was standing on the porch of Malone's getaway home at Moon Lake, having bushwhacked through thick brush from the east side of the lake to avoid detection and probable eviction by his bodyguards. And I was talking to the man who, according to the police, is the only person Malone trusts. I had to know. I see him every day, Akers went on. He doesn't deserve all the grief you newspaper hacks give him. He's a rich man because his laundromats are fine establishments and people like to wash their clothes there. All this talk about him being a bootlegger is just plain hogwash. When I asked if I could talk to Malone, Akers said Malone was out walking. Like I said, he's an ordinary guy who likes to do ordinary things. When I asked him if I could wait for him, he said, "What for? Anything you want to know about Mickey Malone, I can tell you. I worked for him for 15 years. When I said all I wanted was the truth, he said, "Then you're in luck, because that's what I just told you. And now I suggest you leave. Mickey's a swell guy, but he's got these 4 big dogs, see? And sometimes they don't mind so good." I took the hint and I left. But as I struggled through the brush back to my car, I realized something. Akers hadn't told me the truth about what Mickey Malone did. I knew that. But he had told me an important truth when it came to what Mickey Malone was. Someone who had at least one extremely loyal employee. I ask you, good citizens of Philadelphia, how many so-called legitimate businessmen can say the same thing? And tomorrow, reflections on Houdini, master magician. Fun little callback to final scene. And I think this is a good place to stop. Yeah, so on the next episode, we will get the camouflage gear and do some more exploring. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and if you want to be notified whenever I release the newest episodes, go ahead and turn on that notification bell. Thank you again for watching, and until next time, stay sleuthy.